very good morning to you and welcome to the news update on SOUQ News Television. I am Grace Komalafe. Now let's begin. The Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms Committee has clarified that the proposed 5% fuel surcharge under the new tax laws will not affect household kerosene, cooking gas, compressed natural gas, or renewable energy products. Committee Chair Taiwo Oyedele explained in a recent release that the levy applies only to petrol and diesel to shield households from higher energy costs while supporting Nigeria's transition to clean energy. He added that the surcharge will not take effect immediately when the new tax laws begin in January 2026. It requires an official order from the Finance Minister published in the Gazette. The levy is also designed as a dedicated fund for road infrastructure, with over 150 countries applying similar charges to guarantee sustained investment. The federal government has summoned Dangote Group management and the leadership of the Nigeria Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers to an emergency meeting today aimed at averting a nationwide strike over alleged anti-union practices. Nopeng accuses the Dangote refinery of compelling drivers to join a company-backed association instead of the union legally recognized to represent petroleum tanker drivers. The union describes the move as a return to slavery and vows to resist what it calls an attempt to undermine workers' rights. The Nigeria Labour Congress has also directed its 54 affiliates and 36 states councils to mobilize in solidarity should the talks break down. And away from that, Central Bank Governor Olayemi Cardoso has signaled that interest rates may fall soon as inflation eases and foreign capital inflows improve, pointing to a possible shift in the bank's tight monetary policy. Speaking at the Eurocham Nigeria Sea Level Forum in Lagos, Cardoso said the country is entering a phase of growing macroeconomic stability, stronger banking reforms, and renewed investor confidence. He emphasized that the ongoing bank recapitalization exercise remains vital to resilience and long-term financing capacity, while calling for tighter fiscal and monetary coordination. Cardoso also reaffirmed support for fintech-driven financial inclusion, with European investors at the forum pledging stronger business ties with Nigeria. And still in the news, the Nigeria Customs Service has approved a new $300 threshold exempting travelers and online shoppers from customs duties on goods valued at $300 or less. The policy, effective from September 8th, applies to e-commerce purchases, express shipments, and passenger baggage, limited to 4 importations per person annually. Customs spokesperson Abdullahi Mewada explained that the approval came during the board's 63rd meeting chaired by the Finance Minister Wale Edun. Officials say the reform will ease clearance delays at ports and airports, boost e-commerce, and align Nigeria with global trade practices. However, abuse of the policy through invoice manipulation or order splitting will attract penalties, including forfeiture, arrest, and sanctions under the NCS Act 2023. And lastly, in the news, this morning, the United States Department of State has introduced new rules requiring non-immigrant visa applicants to schedule interviews strictly in their country of nationality or residence. The directive, effective September 6th, replaces the previous system that allowed Nigerians and others to book interview slots in third countries such as Ghana, Cameroon, Gambia, Canada, and the Dominican Republic. The State Department said the measure is intended to streamline visa processing and reduce backlogs. True exceptions will apply in limited humanitarian or foreign policy cases. Existing appointments will generally not be cancelled, but applicants who attempt to sidestep the new rule face stricter scrutiny and non-refundable fees. And that's the news. We say many thanks for watching. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms at SOUQ News Television. I am Grace Komalafe. Up next is SOUQ Business Landscape. Please stay with us.
Wole Soyinka. Born Akiwande Oluwole Babatunde Soyinka on July 13, 1934, in Abeokuta, Ogun State, southwest Nigeria, stands as one of Africa's most celebrated literary figures and a global icon of resistance against oppression. His life and works reflect an unwavering commitment to justice, culture, and the transformative power of art. Soyinka was born into a Yoruba family in colonial Nigeria, an environment that exposed him to both traditional African culture and Western education. His father, Samuel Ayodele Soyinka, was a school headmaster, while his mother, Grace Eniola Soyinka, was a devoted Anglican. This blend of indigenous and colonial influences deeply shaped Soyinka's world. Soyinka attended Government College Ibadan and later proceeded to the University College Ibadan, where he studied English and literature. Soyinka completed his education at the University of Leeds in England, earning a degree in English and later a doctorate degree. In the late 1950s, Soyinka began working as a dramaturgist at the Royal Court Theatre in London. However, his passion for storytelling and cultural preservation drew him back to Nigeria, where he founded two theatre groups known as the 1960 Masks and the Orisun Theatre Company. Soyinka's works, often a fusion of Western dramatic techniques and African themes, address universal issues of justice, freedom, and human dignity. His early play, titled A Dance of the Forest, which was introduced in 1960, written to celebrate Nigeria's independence, critically examined the nation's socio-political trajectory, setting the tone for his career as both artist and activist. Soyinka's activism became more visible during Nigeria's post-independence years. In 1967, during the Nigerian Civil War, he called for a ceasefire between federal forces and Biafran separatists. This led to his arrest by the military government, and he spent 22 months in prison, where he wrote a short drama titled The Man Died, Prison Notes, a harrowing account of his imprisonment and a profound critique of authoritarianism. Soyinka has authored more than 20 works, including plays, novels, poetry, and essays. In 1986, Soyinka became the first African to win the Nobel Prize of Literature, an achievement that brought global recognition to African literature. Soyinka remained an outspoken critic of oppressive regimes, often at great personal risk. His activism extended beyond Nigeria, addressing global issues of injustice and human rights. During periods of military rule in Nigeria, he went into exile, continuing to write and speak against tyranny. Today, Soyinka is celebrated not only as a literary giant, but also as a symbol of resilience and moral courage.
Anthony Onyemaechi Elumelu was born on the 22nd of March 1963 in Jos, North Central Nigeria, to Susanna Dominic Elumelu, originally from Delta State. Tony earned a degree in economics from Ambrosely University, where he laid the foundation for his future career, and then furthered his education at the University of Lagos, where he obtained a master's degree in economics. His academic journey also includes attending the Harvard Business School, where he completed the Owner of President Management program, equipping him with advanced business management skills. Tony currently serves as the chairman of Heirs Holdings, Transcorp, and United Bank for Africa, UBA, demonstrating his significant influence in the banking and investment sector. He founded the Tony Elumelu Foundation, which aims to empower African entrepreneurs through comprehensive training, mentorships, and funding opportunities. In addition to his professional achievements, he's also a family man, married to Dr. Adele Vivian Elumelu, and together they have 7 children. In 2020, his efforts were acknowledged when he was named one of Time's 100 most influential people in the world. Anthony Elumelu's net worth is estimated to be around $700 million, a testament to his successful ventures and strategic investments. Elumelu continues to be a driving force in the business world, advocating for sustainable economic growth and empowering the next generation of African entrepreneurs.
Cocoa remains a significant cash crop in Nigeria. predominantly produced by small-scale farmers in the country's southwest region. Historically, cocoa served as a major source of foreign earnings until the 1970s, when the discovery of petroleum shifted the focus away from agriculture. Despite various challenges from its introduction in 1807 to the present, efforts by successive governments and the resilience of cocoa farmers have sustained its production. To better optimize productivity and ensure fair prices for farmers and high economic returns for the government, the Cocoa Marketing Board, CMB, was established in 1947. However, the goal was not totally achieved as pricing policy weren't favorable, discouraging farmers from producing export crops, and that eventually led to the board's abolition in 1986. This resulted in reduced yields and lower quality cocoa beans. Meanwhile, the millennium era witnessed a shift in farmers' focus towards more economically viable crops like oil palm, due to the high cost and intensive care required for cocoa production. Cocoa production faces several obstacles, including limited access to fertilizers, unfavorable climate conditions, pest infestation, poor infrastructure, and land shortages. Also, herders' attacks on farmers have deterred farmers from expanding their farmlands. According to research, despite challenges, cocoa production has empowered many farmers and more stakeholders in the value chain, improving their living standards, enabling them to provide education for their children, cover medical expenses, and build better homes. Concerning the future of cocoa farming in Nigeria, there are mixed opinions among farmers. Some are hopeful that government reinvestment and addressing current challenges can revive the sector's past success. Others are pessimistic due to the persistent issues and the trend of farmers shifting to other crops. Regardless, hope remains for the sector. Solutions like improving land-labor relations, infrastructure, and financial support could revitalize cocoa production, reduce out-migration, stabilize prices, and enhance value chain development, ultimately securing a brighter future for Nigerian cocoa farming and its stakeholders. Ojai Michael, reporting for SOUQ News.
Augmented reality, AR, is a technology that merges computer-generated images with the user's real-world view, creating a composite experience. This interactive experience integrates various sensory modalities, such as things you can see, hear, and even feel, making the experience interactive and immersive. In recent years, the emergence of this transformative technology has seamlessly integrated digital and physical realms. This groundbreaking innovation relies on specialized hardware like smartphones and smart glasses equipped with cameras and sensors, AR software, and Apple's AR Kit and Google's AR Core. Then creates immersive experiences by overlaying virtual content onto the user's real-world environment. AR software such as Apple's AR Kit and Google's AR Core then creates immersive experiences by overlaying virtual content onto the user's real-world environment. AR's applications span diverse industries from gaming to education, healthcare, retail, and manufacturing. In education, AR enhances learning through interactive and dynamic experiences, while in healthcare, it aids surgical planning and medical training. Retail experiences are transformed as AR enables customers to virtually try on products and visualize furniture in their homes. Despite its potential, AR faces challenges such as technical advancements and user privacy concerns. Overcoming these hurdles will unlock even more seamless and immersive AR experiences, making it an integral part of our daily lives. As technology progresses, the horizon for AR broadens, promising a future where our interactions with the world are richer and more interconnected. Augmented reality is not just a trend, it's a revolution shaping the way we live, learn, and work. Goma Fortune, SOUQ News.
Known as the father of African literature, Chinua Achebe was born on the 16th of November 1930 in Ogidi, now Anambra State, eastern Nigeria. He was born to Isaiah Okafor Achebe, a teacher and an evangelist, and Janet Anenichi Ilegunam, a vegetable farmer. Achebe has reshaped the global understanding of African identity through the power of storytelling. Raised during the twilight of colonial rule, Achebe's education was steeped in both Igbo tradition and the Western values of post-colonial Christianity. As a student at the University of Ibadan, he became fiercely critical of how Africa was portrayed in Western literature. Achebe believed that Western literature often painted Africa as a dark and primitive continent, but he sought to tell the African people's lens. In 1958, Achebe's groundbreaking novel Things Fall Apart shattered colonial narratives through the tragic story of Okonkwo, an Igbo warrior. Achebe illuminated the complexities of African culture and the devastating effects of European colonization. Things Fall Apart became more than just a novel. It became a symbol of African resistance against the oppressive narratives of colonialism. Achebe was not just a writer. He was a passionate advocate for African self-determination, and his political activism made him a critical voice in the post-colonial era. Even after a life marked by personal and political struggles, including a car accident that left him partially paralyzed, Achebe continued to inspire. He taught at Bard College and later Brown University, where his influence reached new generations of writers and thinkers. He was married to Christiana Chinwe Okoli and they had 4 children. Sadly, he died in March 2013 at the age of 82. Chinua Achebe's legacy endures in his novels, his essays, and in the countless voices of African writers who follow in his footsteps. He gave us a voice, a story, and a vision of Africa that is ours to share.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If we say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep it for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape. Hello, good morning and welcome to your regular dose of early morning programming. This is SBL, SOUQ Business Landscape. This is where we talk not just governance, we talk business as it affects me, you as it affects conglomerates. We tell you policies that are shaping global endeavors, where the money is coming from, where the money is moving to, who is making it, who is also losing it. We create opportunities by telling and discussing who is in the market. It's all about SOUQ business landscape. Where is development at? Where is the money? You need to be here, not just be here, not just watching, but also part of the communication. So hey, hit us up. Go to every social media platform and seek out SOUQ News TV. Let your voice be heard. My name is SOUQ, John Rogers SOUQ, and it's a beautiful, beautiful Monday morning. We are going to discuss some major issues that has been in the news. From governance, Nigeria is looking at complete taking away paperwork from every part of the civil service. Digitizing, yes, we'll say yes. Dangote is also in the news. People are saying we are going on strike because somebody else's business are making policies that affect their own way of life. A whole lot is happening, and we will talk about it. I'm not alone on this table, so Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, join me as I welcome on this beautiful Monday morning the knight himself. Olumide, good morning.
Good morning, Chooks John Rogers. Good morning, Olumide Shokoya. They say if Monday doesn't excite you, start a new job. So I'm glad to be here. Let's talk business, economy, and of course, development.
Okay, good. So we will go on a very short break. We have a guest in our midst. When we return from the break, we introduce our guest and we'll hit the story. Don't go anywhere. This is where you're supposed to be.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape. Welcome back. It's still SBL. Joining us on this beautiful Monday morning is no other but a public policy advocate and analyst, Mr. Amin Oyedamola. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
What's happening with the blue today? Everybody's looking like we are just there.
Right.
It's nice having you.
Thank you very much. I'm
Good.
happy to be here.
Good. So we'll read our first story and we are on it. So hey, listen up. Now, for those that are wondering, this is coming directly from the office of the major leaders of our economy and the country. Now, governance, FG targets full digital civil service, digitalized civil service by the end of 2025. The federal government has announced plans to fully digitize Nigeria's civil service by the end of 2025, that is this year, making a major step towards paperless governance. Under the renewed hope agenda, the reform will be driven through the OneGov Cloud platform managed by the Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy. The initiative aims to eliminate bureaucratic bottlenecks, cut costs linked to printing and file storage, and strengthen data sovereignty in line with global digital governance standards. Officials say the project will also enhance transparency and accountability across ministries, departments, and agencies, ensuring faster, more efficient public service delivery beyond ongoing economic reforms. President Bola Tinubu's administration has positioned digital governance as a priority, pledging that the overhaul will usher in a new era of service delivery and improved citizen engagement. Okay, now, for a very long time, as long as we can remember, we just know files were moving from one table to the next.
And offices were burning.
And, and offices were burning. Well, I did not add that. He did. But that came from a good source. And we have also seen where government had to employ clerks whose jobs were just to make sure that that file was moving. And we also had to see cases where government duty sometimes stops at a table and you can't find where the file is. What is the issue? Oga will never see the file. But now, from this particular transformation, this particular going full digital, let me start with you. I mean, do you see us completely turning a new leaf? Is it a character? Is it behavioral? Or it's just something that is going to take out this unscrupulous element away from the system?
This is a very beautiful initiative. I hope this is not another talk shop. Right. Nigeria we don't like good ideas or good initiatives. We've always had good initiatives. The problem is in the implementation. And when we are looking at the implementation, we need to look at the technical know-how of our people. We are still very, very behind when it comes to the use of computer literacy and all of this new technology. We are still way behind. So it's not enough to bring this kind of initiative. We need to look at how do we retrain and train our civil servants, because these are the people that are supposed to implement this initiative. So if you bring this beautiful initiative and the people that are meant to implement it cannot implement it, it's just another one for the headline. It's just another one for,
for us to talk about and to excite our people without really doing what we need to do. So side by side, this kind of initiative, I want to see how government wants to train and retrain civil servants and implement in our curriculum. In countries like UAE now, pupils are being trained AI from ages of 6, 7, 8. So we need to do that so that the next set of people coming into the civil service have this technical know-how to be able to fully implement this beautiful initiative.
Okay, coming from the point of implementation, which is where he stepped on, let's move forward. Now we have NITDA. Government is also a government agency. Their major job is to implement government information technology policy and coordinate general information, technology development in the country. Now we see both the ministry and some other agencies. How do we get this synergy to make sure this training happens? And make sure that, because when things are going bad, it's to the benefit of some people.
We cannot talk about training without also looking at language barrier.
Okay.
Now, how do we incorporate language barrier or language? Because maybe in Lagos, ministries, they all speak English and you understand what the computer is based. And most computers, except you want to like reformat it or get a tech person to change the language, it's mostly written in English. If you go to other states, I'm not trying to shade other states like Oyo and the rest of them, in civil service, it's Yoruba they speak. So
the federal civil service or state civil service?
I'm talking about state.
Okay.
Do you understand? So we also have to look at the language. And in other parts, in other geopolitical zones, we have to look at how can we now incorporate language so that they understand what the computer... Now, also, what is the requirement for civil service? Is it a university degree or is it...
It depends on the level.
It depends on the level. So what I'm going to is that most of these people, as at the time they were in school, they were not opportune to have a computer or to have been taught with a computer.
After how many years?
Okay, fine. They can now, after school, after university, they can now engage in service. But that is those who want that change, because change sometimes can be seen as an enemy. So in training people, are they also willing to learn? Because, the older you get, they say that your brain slowly assimilates and all that. But that's not a shade entirely. But in order for us to be able to run this synergy, the civil servants themselves must be willing, just like you said, it benefits. Now, if you go to any ministry and you want to just submit a file, you know how you grease some palms. They will tell you your file, they can't find your file. And you have to say, I beg now, what's in fear me do? And they will say, don't worry, come next week, I would. They'll make it seem as if they are going to do something very hard for you, and you will feel indebted to want to, grease their palms. So,
have you crossed that route before?
I don't want to even say it right here, but okay. It's a necessary thing. I remember there was a particular institution, a government institution, I wanted to access a particular document, and I know how much my uncle had to, let go for that to happen. So while it benefits some, it might not benefit some. But one of the things I'm glad this will take care of is ghost workers and all that. Okay. If we are fully able to digitize the civil service, it will take care of job racketeering, ghost workers, and the rest of them, because it is in that civil. Some people are abroad, living, enjoying themselves, and still collecting something. I know, I think 2 years ago, or last year, there was this scandal with the FAC, I can't remember them, and there was a job racketeering and all that came out. And even President Tinubu he's been vocal on that. So I hope, one of the things we have here in Nigeria is we implement 50%, we don't implement 100%. So if we can implement 100%, it will take care of a whole lot of things. But education, digital literacy is the key, because how many of them can actually...
Yes, they can. If government is employing you, that should be a requirement. If this is where the government is going to, that should be a requirement.
That is why I asked initially, what's the requirement when applying for civil service? Because if that was incorporated at the very beginning, we won't be here.
Okay. Now let's get back to you. I mean, if we say this is the route we are going and we are running this way, don't you see people losing jobs?
I disagree. You see, the digital economy is very, very robust.
I'm talking about civil servants.
Those who don't qualify.
Not other people. Civil servants. If nobody is moving files anymore and paper is not going up and down, that is somebody's job to move that file. That is somebody's job to lock down the numbers of that file. Now, who is going to, if they have no jobs anymore, don't you think that they somehow will become redundant?
In life, improvement is a given. Everybody at every particular time have to improve themselves. So even without the government introducing a new policy, it is our duty as a people, if we see that, if there's a new technology that is bigger than phone and we need it to communicate, nobody asked us to go learn how to use a phone. So we have to improve ourselves. It is very bad if there's anybody drawing salary from the federal government or any place without computer literacy. It is very bad. The person does not deserve the job. So we need to improve ourselves. And the digital economy is so big. So while we are going into this, there are computer programmers that are going to be building applications that are tailor-made for our problems, to solve our problems. So a lot of people are going to be employed. There are going to be data centers. People are going to be working in the data centers. There are going to be technicians that are going to be running cables, running internet. If we are going full digital, there has to be an uninterrupted internet that connects all the ministries together so that everybody can see what's going on in real time. That's the advantage of the digitalization.
Okay, let me stop you now. You just mentioned something that could have question marks on them. Now, if we're saying we are doing it, going digital, and we have to connect, that shows a level of transparency. Yes. That brings this question. Now, NITDA has its own kettle of fish to fry. How do we protect government data?
Government data are going to be protected by professionals. But let me put a caveat that the strongest economy of the country in the world, America, often have some of their data compromised. So, and while you put in place the strongest mechanism to protect your data, some people's job are to try to infiltrate it. And then you come up with stronger solutions. Just like we say with our files too. Sometimes when people have done something wrong, they go ahead to burn, the gentleman across the table said, they burn where the archive. And then we have to find stronger way to protect our files, like fireproof saves, fireproof archives. So, there will always be problems. And it is our job to try to improve in solutions to solve these problems.
Okay, so right now, fire can't work because those particular data is in the cloud.
Yeah.
So burn all you want. The data is there. So protecting that data is key. Okay, let me get to you. Now, we are saying government needs to cut down on costs of running government. And this is one particular means they've pushed forward.
Yes.
To what extent are they going to cost that cost within the civil service going this route?
They will cut costs, but at the expense of some people's jobs, like you mentioned, because if two people are used to doing something and you can have that done, for instance, you don't have to go to the passport office, you don't have to do some certain tax clearance, you can do it from the comfort of your home. That's one person's job taken out, and that saves cost. So the government have to weigh this, they have to weigh the pros and the cons of it. Do they really want to save cost at the expense of some people losing their jobs? Just like you said, someone, when you go to the ministry, someone takes down your file, takes your document, you sign, and it takes that particular document to different offices. So now, when we digitalize, all we have to do is, once you don't even need to go to the ministry or any federal ministry or state ministry. You can do it from the comfort of your home, and it sends it directly to the office that it needs to be sent, which means that person that's supposed, the office assistant or whoever it is, might lose his job, thereby saving cost. They will also save cost of paper. So it's dicey, but it's a way forward. If we truly want to get where we're going, e-governance is the way. If we truly want that digital economy, if you want that $1 trillion economy, if you want that, if you want federal government or state government to cut down. Now, I would advise that this should be done in phases, not full implementation, to test and see.
But they've been touting this particular policy for over a long period of time.
Yes, it has been there for a while. So what I'm saying is maybe they could start with a particular ministry or key ministries to see how it works.
Ministry of Finance.
Ministry of Finance, maybe Ministry of Lands or something. Start or just pick a particular ministry first, maybe Ministry of Finance, because it's a very sensitive sector. Start with that. Let's see how we can curb a whole lot of things. Now, that would also bring into the fore tracking of payment. You can actually track certain, because if you go to a ministry, you pay for something, they can easily tear that receipt and the record is gone. But once you pay online,
they don't tear receipts. The file just gets missing.
Okay, fine. So once you pay online, it goes directly to the office needed, and that is it. The record is there. And since they are making use of the OneGov cloud, beautiful, fantastic. Transparency is effortless delivery.
Okay, while you are looking at effortless delivery, let's look at time. Time spent on government businesses, government dealings. With this particular route we are taking, how much of that time are we going to reduce, and how fast is running government going to be?
It's going to be very, very fast. I don't agree with implementation in phases, because Nigeria is not an isolated country. Nigeria is part of a global ecosystem. So if the countries that we want to be like, if they are running at 100 kilometers per hour, we cannot be running at 20. If not, we keep losing our best brains to these economies. Our people need to wake up and start operating at the global level. We need to encourage our people to start operating at the global level. Because now what we see is our best brains, they are leaving these shores to go be part of the bigger economy. So all of this efficiency, when we save money, when government save money, is not for keeps in the bank. The major problem of Nigeria, apart from corruption, is a revenue problem. Our budget is $35 billion for the whole country, for the whole year. New York's budget, a state in America, is almost $300 billion. JFK Airport this year is being renovated for almost $35 billion. And that's not the only airport in New York. It's just one airport. And this is not new building. This is renovation. So if we save money, money will be able to put into good use. We are a poor country, so we need to be more efficient, get things done faster, save money so that we can invest in infrastructure and things that will benefit the greater good. Government's job is to make policy for the greater number of people. So we need to save all of the money that we need that can be put into good use for the public.
Okay, while you are saving this money, let's now bring it this way. If this is government policy, how can we get this policy to trickle down to states? You were talking about language barrier when it comes to access to the system, computer systems.
Yes.
How can we get this particular policy to trickle around the states?
Training, massive training. It has to. It could start from the local government upwards. They need massive training. That's why they will not have to partner with, the private sector. Bring in some tech experts. Bring in some gurus that would train them on basic applications, how to even use and maintain the computer, because it's not just being able to access, but maintaining the software, maintaining the system also matters. How well to protect data. They might have to, just like you said, create data centers. They might have to employ other consultants or people, experts outside to be able to help them. If it's going to be a cloud service, it's prone to hacking. So they have to figure a way out to make that hack-proof. Yes, even in the US, they hack. I mean, Apple iCloud, they hacked it at a point in time. So no particular system is hack-proof, or how you might put it. So they have to, first of all, try and train people, try and train them. If we had gone the route of China, China, they are far vast in technology. And one of the things they did was to do it in their language. So imagine if we could teach computer in Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, Efik, or any
But the languages are there in the system.
They are there in the system. But are the people ready to access it? Because that's another thing. In training them, do they also want to learn? Because these are people, they've been doing things in the ministry for 20 years, 30 years, and you're bringing something, that might favor them or not favor them. That's another issue there. So, but training, they have to constantly train them. Maybe it could be for a month, train them and see how it goes.
Okay, training you say. Okay, now let's get straight to our second story from the first. Now, minimum wage. Imo and Ebonyi. Now, this hitting up places. Imo and Ebonyi raised minimum wage above 70,000 naira amid revenue surge. Imo and Ebonyi states have raised workers' pay to 104,000 naira and 90,000 naira respectively. Hold on. Now you heard us. 104,000 naira and 90,000 naira respectively, surpassing the national minimum wage of 70,000 naira signed into law by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in July 2024. Governor Hope Uzodinma said Imo's raise was backed by stronger finances, with SOUQ allocation rising from 5 billion to as high as 13 billion and IGR nearing 4 billion in 2025. The new structure also lifted doctors' entry-level pay to 582,000 naira and lecturers to 222,000 naira, aimed at retaining talent in health and education. Ebonyi Governor Francis Mwifuru declared its 90,000 wage permanent, citing prudent fiscal discipline and clearing pension arrears dating back to 1996. The move have drawn praise and skepticism. A pro-APC group questioned Imo's ability to implement the 104,000 naira wage amid complaints of unpaid arrears, while some analysts linked the timing to APC's 2027 political strategy. Ebonyi faced criticism for granting flat 20,000 naira raises across all levels, dampening morale among senior staff. The Nigeria Employers Consultative Association urged all states to go beyond 70,000, given rising federal revenues and surging living costs, with workers' welfare now central to economic debates. The focus has shifted to whether the raises are fiscally sustainable and if more states will follow suit. Gentlemen, this is where we are on this table. 104,000 naira, thank Imo